There's much to learn. Or better said, there's much to unlearn. We have been given lots of false ideas and lots of concepts by those who had an intention to help, but mostly had intention to help themselves. But things are changing because of you, because of the vibration in this space right now. 12 people holding this vibration could change a stadium full of people who are full of fear. Because in this vibration, there is no fear. There is only love. There's only allowance. There's only acceptance. There's only the beautiful concept that God has created you as perfect, neither behind the point of perfection nor advancing toward it. And you must see yourself therefrom. You must begin to realize who you are, what you are, and how you serve in truth, in love, in purpose, in reality itself. It is you. It was always you were looking for. You need look no further. Not at all. So as we say welcome to the host of angels that join us today, that are here to share this experience with us, we say welcome. We feel it in our heart, and we open our minds to the embrace of love. So thank you for being in this space with me and for giving me the opportunity to be here with you. I am honored, truly honored. It's difficult to share the truth that we share in this space, simply because if we jump in too deeply with what many of us have begun to awaken to, those who are not yet at that place of, shall I say, acceptance or pushing back well-ingrained, well-indoctrinated, conditioned resistance, we want to go running out of the room with our hair on fire kind of thing, right? And we're a little bit frightened by the concept that maybe that we are more powerful than we've been told we are. But that was the message of our brother Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago. His message was very, very simple and continues now today more than ever, that it's very, very, very simple. You are as God created you to be. You are pure spirit, not pure body, not pure matter. And your mind expands well beyond the myopic focus that we have through this limited sense of self and the 5-sense system of the material world. It expands way beyond that. And so now many people are starting to shift in their consciousness. And some of the reasons for some of that's happening is because our planet is actually shifting in vibration. The Schumann resonance, if any of you have heard of that before, has shifted. It's been pretty consistent. It's the vibration or the heartbeat. It's a frequency between the ionosphere and the planet's surface. And it's been pretty consistent for what they estimate to be eons. But in the last 20 or 30 years, it's more than doubled. The vibration of the planet is shifting. And in fact, we're being told by the non-physical spirit that's channeling through other mediums at this point that our entire solar system is moving now into new areas of our galaxy. And yes, we're expecting things to change. The magnetic forces, the magnetic fields of our planet have shifted so much in the last 30 years. Check it out. You don't have to go too far. It's called the internet. That almost every major airport, in fact, I believe it's 100% now, every airport in our country, around the world, they're changing the numbers on the landing strip. Because the magnetic direction of the landing strip is indicated by those two numbers. As the pilot comes in, he hones in on that heading. And it's shifting. It's shifting because you're shifting. You're shifting everything because you've been asking, you've been praying, and you've been saying, I want a different experience. Fear, pain, suffering, hatred, shame, guilt, all of this. We don't need it, but we've been indoctrinated by it and through it out of an experience that we were unfamiliar with when we came at a simple experience of saying, what would it be like, children playing, to say, what would it be like to pretend to be God separate from God? What would it be like to be able to say that that's a chair and this is a floor and that's a wall and that's a tree? Let's define what God is being. Let's define ourselves as small and isolated into this visible, tangible manifestation of ourselves called body. Let's limit ourselves to this so we can play this game of separation. And as soon as we began to play that game, the first thing we began to realize, unbeknownst to us up to that point, was guilt and fear that we had done something wrong, that we had somehow made an offense against our Creator. And that's the story of the prodigal son in the Bible. When the prodigal son returns home, the father doesn't go attack him for the life that he's lived and the wealth and resources that he's squandered in his experience of separation. He welcomes him with open arms. You are my beloved, he said. The source of what you are, which is really that peace of God within you, we refer to as the Holy Spirit in the Bible, but it's really nothing more than your right mind. It is your true self, and it is also trying to wake you up from an illusion of separation, and it's succeeding because our world is changing in evidence of it. Now, as these vibrations change, as these magnetic fields change, we're seeing shifts in the energy of the planet itself. Volcanoes last week in Mexico. A whole series of hurricanes just recently. And we have friends down in the Virgin Islands, and they still don't have cell phones. They still don't have electric grids. They still don't have power. They still don't have food. Their airports are shut down. They can't get in. They can't get out. Keep them in your prayers, but don't see them as suffering. See them as healed, because you are the creator. You're the creator of the vibration that you send out into the world, and it reflects back. Why? Because it's a reflective universe. It's not coming at you. It's reflecting what? You. It's reflecting your thoughts. What thoughts are you holding? Our brother Jesus Christ simply realized that simple truth and simply began to hold thoughts of what? Love. Can you do that? Absolutely, you can do that. As he said, you will do more than I. He held the vibration of love in his heart consistently, persistently, and he shared a demonstration with us that was very simple. It was construed and misinterpreted and abused because his demonstration wasn't anything to do with sin or sacrifice or a judging God. His demonstration was simply, check this out, I can't die. You can try to crucify me, but you'll have no luck because I'm not a body. I am spirit. And spirit, which is what God has created, will always be recognizable. You will always be recognizable. You will never not have an opportunity to be recognizable. And what God created is eternal. Therefore, the bad news, you will never experience death. It's impossible to experience something that God did not create. That doesn't mean that we can't make it up, that we can't dream about it, that we can't fabricate concepts and have illusions. How do I know that that's true? Because every night when I go to sleep, I experience a whole new universe. I experience a world that's completely different than the world I'm experiencing in this moment right now. And it seems so absolutely real until I waken up, either in the middle of the night or in the early morning when I wake up and realize, oh, that was just a dream. Because the truth is, dreams have no effect. Sin, as taught by our brother Jesus Christ, was simply missing the mark. In other words, giving your mind and your attention to something that is illusion. We could call it a dream, and it's a good example of what that is. But when we're in the midst of a dream, it certainly appears real. And when two or more of us get involved in a commitment to illusion, it becomes very real. And we shake the earth. We literally change the earth as we know it. We change the universe as we know it. And so the host of angels, the host of loved ones, the host of family that are cheering us on now are in your court, edging you on and simply telling you that you are loved beyond your wildest imaginations and well beyond how you love yourself. One of the most important things that we teach here at Unity is a principle that often doesn't get enough credit and enough voice. And the truth is, you can't love anything or anybody until you love yourself first. So self-love is what Reverend Claudia and I, she usually talks quite a bit about divine selfishness. Because is it selfish to put your needs first? Absolutely. It's not what the world's told you. The world's told you that you need to sacrifice for others. But when you get on that airplane and those little masks drop down, do they tell you to put it on your child first or on yourself first? Put it on yourself first. Is that selfish of you? No, that's profoundly wise of you. Because if you pass out, before you can help your child, what's going to happen to your child? That's right. If you do believe in that. The point being divinely selfish is not only wise, it's sacred. It's a spiritual truth. Because once you begin to help yourself, then you can help other people. When I first began on this journey and I started to consider this wild, ridiculous idea of reincarnation, because all my life I'd been taught, you got one shot. And by the time I was 45 years old, I'm like, oh, wow, one shot? I haven't learned anything yet. In fact, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. In fact, it's even gotten worse in the last 20 years. The more I study, the more I read, the more I realize I know nothing. I absolutely don't know anything. So I need to turn to the voice of wisdom. And it continues to come through us more now and now through mediums who are awakened through this teaching here. Bev sent me some stuff this week about, was a critique by the Christian community, I'll say the fundamental Christian community of A Course in Miracles, and that was blasphemous and it was blah, blah, blah. Because they don't believe or accept just a few of the things. I'm already sitting up here just talking about all kinds of blasphemy if you caught on to anything I've already said, right? I've said what? You're perfect? Where is sin at in that, by the way? There's no room for sin and perfection. You're perfect, neither behind the point of perfection nor advancing toward it. You're already at it now. You only have to remember it. You only have to awaken to it. Second, there is no such thing as sin. There really is no sin. Sin is simply missing the mark, and missing the mark is believing that you could do something against God. Well, how powerful would God be if frail little you could do something against God? Right? You're not hurting God. God is an energy of love. Like the air in this room, it's an energy of love. You haven't been paying any attention to it, but it's been loving you ever since you got here. Right? Let's take a good deep breath right now. It's beautiful. You didn't have to worship it at all. It was right there for you. You didn't have to pray to it. You didn't have to beg it. You didn't have to beseech it. You didn't have to think that it's holding out your good, that it's keeping something from you. It's just right here with you all the time, never ever, like the guides that come into space with you, and wherever you go, they'll never leave you. They will never leave you because they love you. God is love. God is the energy of love. When we stepped into this game, this illusion of separation, we just simply began to play. And the first thing we began to do is play the game of one-upmanship. We began to think that the Darwinian theory, while it wasn't crystallized yet in the mind of Darwin at that point, was already at play in our own minds because we believed that this is about the survival of the fittest. And whoever has the best and strongest attributes, the best authority, can dominate. And so we either can be enslaved or we can dominate others and enslave them. Do you have to look very far in our world today to see witness to that insane idea? It's happening everywhere. What Jesus taught and still teaches now is simply take your power back. Let go of those concepts that empowered other people in the game of one-upmanship, the game of survival of the fittest. Let go of these false ideas of the evolution in the sense that the strongest shall always win. But that consciousness can evolve. You can evolve consciously and wake your mind up to the point where you can literally manifest what you need as you need it. In fact, if you stay focused on the main thing, which is loving the people in your life and meeting the need, sharing love with other people, what you need is automatically given. You've read it in the Bible. You've heard it before. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all else shall be given unto you. Yes? Have we all heard that? Absolutely. What does that mean? Keep the main thing the main thing. Love the person next to you. Love the person across the street, across the country, and around the world. When they have a need, fill the need. Last week, Reverend Claudia shared it so succinctly and so perfectly. You first. If you see the need, it's because it's been calling you. That's where you have become the opportunity to be the blessing, to be the Christ, to be the love of this planet. God working through you, the Spirit of love working through you. You only have to search no further than your own mind to know where the need needs to be filled at. Because you don't have to look anywhere and not see it, right? We see it everywhere. Meeting the need. And in the reading that I shared with you this morning, and Reverend Claudia read so beautifully, thank you so much. I love you so much. I talked about Jesus, one of his primary, what we call these truths, right? And we call them axioms. There are a few books that you guys know that we've been talking about. The Course in Miracles, and then The Way of Mastery, and then we brought some other channeled work into the community, and we've been sharing them in our classes. So this axiom of I need do nothing is one of the most misunderstood ones, because a lot of people say, well, I just go home and sit on the couch and everything's going to be okay. It doesn't work that way, right? It is that if you can quiet your own mind, if you can sit down and just be quiet for a few minutes, and then allow Spirit to inform you of where the need is, then you get up off the couch, right? And you get out and you change the world. You become the conduit. You become the vessel of love in this universe that we care for and that we love. And we're seeing ourselves out there, guys. You're not seeing anybody out there except yourself. So in A Course in Miracles, Jesus simply shares, and that's one of his teachings in here, is you need do nothing. And it's often misunderstood, but he shares in here that the point of this is very simple. Many, many people over the ages have begun to learn how to and practiced meditation. Yes, some of you in here, I know some of you appreciate the value of it. Absolutely. As do I. But he says, you can spend 10 years or so meditating, through you're trying to develop insight, you're trying to understand the truth about yourself, and so you're just quieting the mind and you're in this place of peace. And what a beautiful place it is indeed, because in peace and understanding come together. And peace and love come together, and there is no place in there for fear whatsoever. So we meditate, and we can meditate for a few, hours a day, or maybe 10 or 15 hours a day, and we can do that for 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and we can do that for a few lifetimes, and that's a pretty good deal. It will help you, right? But he said the reason that he wrote this book, A Course in Miracles, was to save you time, because you don't need to meditate 15 hours a day. 20 minutes twice a day is really good. But during that 20 minutes, what you practice is being connected to your true self, what we call the Holy Spirit, and you simply ask the truth. You ask Spirit, your true self, what is the truth about whatever's going on in your life? And this is where we begin to see the power of what we call holy relationships. A holy relationship is a relationship you have with anybody, anywhere they are, or maybe someone that is the object of your affection. And in all of those relationships, your practice is very simple. Jesus calls it the two-step. He said, first, let's take a good deep breath. And that brings us to center. And when we do that, we'll notice that our thinking slows down. It's like putting the brakes on the car. First thing you do is stop your stinking thinking, right? You turn within and you make that connection with Spirit, and you simply ask. And one of my favorite questions that I always ask when I start my communication with Spirit is very simple. I like starting out with yes and no answers. I don't want to confuse Spirit. So I simply say, are you there? And I get this wash of love. And the answer is yes, because Spirit never leaves you. And so this wash of love comes through. And I come to this space and I ask that question in each endeavor, in each meeting with my loved one, be that my beautiful Reverend Claudia Tamber or you, because we are all family, we are all beloved. And I say, what is the truth about this one? How can I be the perfect expression of love in this moment? And in a holy relationship, your partner, the one that is the object of your affection, whoever you're having a conversation with, whoever you're with in that moment, they do the same thing. You both take a good deep breath and you look at each other and you first turn within and ask Spirit, what is the truth about this beautiful one before me? And you get it. That wash of love comes over you and you see yourself in that one. How do you think you're going to treat that person when you do that? How could you be anything other than the expression of love? There was a moment of an incident that was shared with me this week. Someone was just shopping, visiting a store, and they were some distance away and they saw a man and a couple of his children, little boys. I don't know how old they were. 4 or 5 years old. And this person saw the father just slap the hell out of this little boy. And so the first thing that comes to our mind is, how can that be love? How can that be love? And our heart goes to this little boy because we see the innocence, yes? You guys see the innocence of a 4-year-old boy? I know you have no trouble in that. But the pervading question I'm asking you today is, do you see the innocence of the Father? Because it's the Father that's hurting, and it's being expressed outwardly, hurting others, perpetuating lies, perpetuating insanity, perpetuating a world of suffering. Can we look at that incident and ask ourselves, when have I wanted to strike out against anyone, no matter how innocent they might appear to the world? When have I been that one? And turn within, in that moment, join with Spirit and simply ask, what is the truth? What is the truth about this man? And that wash of love can come over you and you can suddenly see his innocence, that he has been conditioned by a world that has taught him in error, missing the mark. You can call it sin if you want to. He just simply doesn't know what you know now. That the world is reflective. And what you do comes back at you. And there it is. One simple truth. We need do nothing gives us the opportunity to sit down and be quiet and allow Spirit to be the guide of what we do. Whether we're with our children or our object of affection, our loved ones or our neighbors and our brothers and sisters in this community. We need to do nothing before we turn within and ask Spirit the truth about that one. And let Spirit and the wash of love come over us and let us see that all that we meet are innocent in their reality. And in order for us to see our perfection, in order for us to see our innocence, we have to stop the judgment, the condemnation, the hatred, the counterattack. And we have to reach out in love and simply say, how can I help you? And when you do that through Spirit, it is an act of love, not an act of fear. It is an act of love, not an act of defense. It is an act of truth in you being your true self of who you really are. And the host of angels that are always around you will kneel before you because they see your magnificence. They know that you're waking up, and they're there to guide you in your next step, and your next step, and your next step. So as we surround ourselves with this love, when we surround ourselves with an opportunity to make a different choice, we become love, because love works through us. It is us. And it is also in all of our brothers and sisters. One of the toughest things we're ever going to do is love ourselves first. And since everyone outside of us is also a part of us, we have to love ourselves wholly. W-H-O-L-L-Y. It's a tough practice. It's a high call. But I know that you are capable, more than capable, because I know of your perfection. Thank you so much, my brothers and sisters, for giving me an opportunity to share, because I'm here to honor you. I love you, each and every one. And I am blessed with the courage that you have to come to this space, to hear these words, and to join the conversation with Reverend Claudia and I each week and in our classes, because this is world-changing, but it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of commitment. And we are honored, and the members of this community are honored with your presence, your love. Thank you so much.